Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. This is Comics News Today for May 17th. Time is flying, man. We're almost half a year down here in 2021, and what a wonderful year it has been. I know for Booster over New Zealand, everything's perfect. Their leaders are amazing, and they just love them.
Mm.
And they're able to walk around and live life. There's no pandemic to think about. Isn't that right, Booster?
Yeah, I love Jacinda and I love her big fucking teeth.
She does have very large teeth. She does.
She,
That's
she is
that's
not an attractive woman. It's something about the Kiwi woman. They're atrocious.
okay. All right, fair enough. I'm sure you get a beauty here or there. It's kind of mathematically improbable for you to not have one, but
Yeah, it's also
nevertheless,
mathematically improbable for one of them to talk to me.
fair enough. Well, if you find them unattractive, then that should be non-bothersome.
That's why I'm going to America.
You should. You'd love it. They'd
I know.
eat you alive,
Gotta
dude.
pick up some beautiful babes.
hmm
Uh,
Make sure you go to
hey,
California.
hey, love,
That's the
how you
best
doing?
place.
Hey, Joe, I'm from New Zealand.
That might work. They like the accent. They do.
Yeah.
So how's it going
Yeah.
over there in the Midwest, not Midwest, Northeast, whatever the hell you call it, where you live there, Thundero?
Lovely. Wonderful, even.
That sounded positive, Booster.
I hear
No,
Thundaro lives in the serial killer state of America.
Hey,
yeah.
does he? Do you
Yeah, there's
have
only
a?
two things that come out of Ohio: geniuses and psychopaths. I haven't decided which one I am yet.
So you have a preponderance of
Maybe a
serial
bit of
killers?
both.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, most of them come from Ohio. Also, a preponderance of presidents. A lot of them come from Ohio, too.
Oh, that's neat.
Thundaro isn't a serial killer yet, just a regular one.
Yeah. No, I mean, no.
Well, it depends on how you define that, I suppose. If it's simply the amount of people who kill in one sitting, then Chicago would be the king of that.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah. But that you can't say that on the internets anymore. That's inappropriate behavior, Booster. You should
Bad, we
write
have
that
to
down
we have
and
to
you should.
move on, or we're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, we should get canceled. Damn. Kinkles are a special thing, I have to say. Anyway, we got
Yeah.
Roger in here. We got Dave as well. Nice to see you guys. Sweet. Around the world, they're coming to America. And coming to America 2 is going to be out soon as well, and that should be
No,
great.
it's already out.
It
It
was
is.
already out and it was okay.
Yeah, I watched
What?
Yeah, you missed it.
What?
Yeah,
Holy shit! Really?
yeah.
So how was it?
it. Yeah.
Well, for important question
It
first.
exists.
What was Eddie Murphy in it?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay. Was Arsenio Hall in it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a good start. That's a good start.
Let's just say spoilers. It goes it takes a very feminist take on the King of Zamunda. Let's put it that way.
No, not with Eddie. Eddie's way too cool for that shit, man. What are you talking about?
Well, he's not.
That's too bad, dude. I mean, he came out with that. I don't forget what they called it. It was based on the Dolomite guy. What it was called, Dolomite.
My name is Dolomite.
My name is Dolomite. That was
I
excellent.
loved it.
Yeah, that was excellent. Really good.
In
job.
fairness, the movie does set it up, and it does it well, but it's still feminist agitprop bullshit.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not as funny as the first one, but a sequel rarely ever is.
So,
but it's pretty much a lot of this only happened because it happened in the other movie, stuff like that.
oh, that kind of nonsense. Yeah, they do that a lot. So I get the premise. He's the king, and his daughter is coming to America. That yes.
Hang on.
He said, "Hang on." He's worried about spoilers about a movie no one gives a shit about. It's not good.
No,
No, I think it had to be out
at all. That's not what it's about at all. It's about he doesn't have an heir because it has to be a male.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds out he does have an heir because he was literally raped, by the way, when he was in America by Leslie Jones' character.
Oh my god.
And yeah, so she has his baby that he doesn't know exists. He goes and finds him, brings him back to Zamunda, and shenanigans happen,
And
and
he's
da da
gay.
da. No, he's not gay. He's just not worthy of being a king.
So he has
So his
daughters,
daughter,
and he gives it. I get it. Okay, I knew
yeah,
it worked out something like that. Well, it could have been worse, dude. I mean, that
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
could have
yeah.
been worse.
No, it's fine. It's for Christ's sake, it's a sequel to a movie from the '80s, so it's fine. It's the best praise I can give it.
Yeah, it's kind of that mid-range of Eddie movies, to be fair. But all right, I didn't know. I'd heard it was coming. We are going to talk a little bit about some movies that are coming today, comic book
Oh,
related movies.
ooh,
But so we might as well go ahead and jump into that. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
All right.
yeah,
Yeah. No, Dave, Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore. Yeah. But that movie was really good. If you guys haven't seen My Name is Dolomite, go check that out because that was
that's good
spectacular.
fun.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Great return to form for Eddie Murphy
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it might
after over
well have been this.
20 years of not being in an R16 movie.
Well, I feel like that was like his best movie ever.
Mhm.
To be honest with you, for some reason this isn't showing up. Why isn't this showing up? Stop doing whatever you're doing. All right, let me try it again. All right, I'll put it up there. Let me come back over now and do like this and see if it works this time. All right. Huh. Oh, there we go. Finally. Okay. That was weird. All right, so I got it set up here so the guys can see what's going on, and then I will jump over and take a look at myself here. All righty, boom, there we go. All right, go ahead, Booster. We're starting out with something that's not necessarily comic book related, but I think it's important to later conversations. Go ahead, Booster.
No, I feel it's pretty comic book related. AT&T dumping WarnerMedia, merging it with Discovery to take on Netflix and Disney. Ooh.
Now, this is
Ugh.
a rumor, as most things are, but we do know that these companies do enjoy throwing around rumors to kind of test the waters and such. And I'm kind of curious if this isn't one of them. But basically, what this article is stating is that AT&T is not particularly happy with their Warner Brother purchase. Okay, not shocked about that. Things are not going the way they want, and there's a lot of debt, and they want to try to nullify that a little bit, and they want to take Warner and merge it with Discovery, which when I was in America, when I last time I saw Discovery Channel, it was about like nature and science and things like that. But it sounds like now it's just like a reality TV thing, which is weird.
I
Um,
have absolutely no idea. I haven't watched cable television for 10 years.
Well, there you go, and it's been longer for me. But nevertheless, that seems what it's turned into, and they want to be able to use some Warner Brother characters or Warner Brother something to prop up that reality TV. So, if there's any truth to this, that would be a sad end to Warner Brother, wouldn't it? Being turned into a support for reality TV.
Ugh. Oh, that'd be depressing.
Yeah.
Do
Uh,
people still watch reality TV?
I I
Is that a
don't
thing?
know. YouTube in a
Because
way is reality TV, isn't it?
I guess, but I don't really count that though, right? I just oh, what's happening to my throat? I'm getting whatever you're getting, Chester. Oh my lord. Um, so when I think of TV, reality television, right, I think of the trashy fucking shows where it's just a bunch of characters, if you will,
Yeah.
bidding on a garage or something. And then they're like, "No, open that garage and see what we got." I guess it's like a different form of an unboxing video when you think about it. But
In a way, yeah.
it's those shows just drive me nuts. My parents, my family would just sit there for hours, just sitting in front of the television, watching these shows. It drives me mental, and they claim that video games are rotting my fucking brain.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And it is a legitimate problem, I think. Social media is a problem itself, and we talked about that. And of course, that's playing over into that reality stuff. I think they're directly connected, in my opinion. However, one thing this article does say is the IPs that they have. AT&T seems more interested, like Harry Potter and other things like that, of transferring them into the video game world. that could be a positive. DC, a really good DC universe games or what have you. But I just thought this was an interesting thing. This is from Somali, by the way. He brought this to my attention, and I think it's interesting for some of the conversations we're going to have here later. But Dave has something to say today. Was forgotten about in 3 weeks. The Nutty Professor dinner table scene is still great. It is. Mighty Little Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Oh yeah, that's right. He's talking about Eddie Murphy movies. Discovery in the History Channel is almost all reality TV shows now. Dave says Pawn Stars, American Pickers. Um, okay, I do recall American Pickers, but that was a very long time ago. Is that still going on? And I think it's fine to put some of that stuff on Discovery or History, but isn't it supposed to be about history, science, nature? I mean, isn't that the point of those channels? Do the young people no longer have a necessity to learn things?
The point of those channels is to make money, and that stuff just doesn't.
All right. Education. Oh well. Anyway, I want to set that as a premise today, if you guys don't mind, and then let's move on, and maybe we'll see a connection. So, Booster, here we go. I want to start a nice and happy and nice for just for you, just for you.
Oh, just for me. Oh, it's the new waifu of Genshin Impact.
Yeah,
Artist Shiamano 240. She is bikini pinup of Genshin Impact's Eula.
Eula. Now, Shiamano is
Eula.
no way in. Is that how you spell that? By the way, so I don't know what they're doing. But
Shiamano.
anyway, I talk about this character a little bit. Okay, she's a little bit sexy, I guess. Do you have this character?
I do not. She isn't out just yet. She'll probably be coming around sometime today. And
Oh,
she's going to
okay.
be a super rare 5-star kind of thing. So I'm probably not going to be getting her anytime soon.
Fair enough.
But I'm
But
okay because I'm happy with my daddy Zhongli.
oh, okay, and they have a little character release here, a teaser for that. Okay, I get it.
Mhm.
They do have a little bit of bikini love here, a little bit of bikini
Oh
love,
my goodness
a
gracious.
little bit.
With
The
the
thing is
thighs and
interesting.
everything.
Well, it's interesting to me because we got this beautiful body on this drawing here, and then you come up to that dumb ass anime face. It looks so
Mhm.
alien on it. It doesn't suit
It's
it.
very it's weird and cutesy, isn't it?
It's
Like a
doesn't.
different
Yeah,
face on that body. Yeah.
I always thought it was odd.
Just anime for you, yeah.
The body is fine though. I have no problem with that body. That's good to go.
Body makes my pee pee very hard,
It
yes.
does. And there was another picture in here. I checked out a few of them. I didn't think they were very interesting. This one here I thought was interesting. Which character is
Oh
this?
my!
Oh, that would be Ningguang.
Hmm.
I recognize that immediately. Yep,
Okay.
that's Mummy.
She's she's not bad. Now this is much better. Now you can still tell it has an anime touch to it, but this is a much more put together from top to bottom, right?
There's a little arrow there. You can look for more.
I
What else you
can.
got there?
Would you like me to do that, Booster? This is for you
Look at
after
that
all.
little arrow.
Yeah, it's a good artist though. It's pretty good art, man.
Hmm. Very good
Oh,
artist, in
oh,
fact.
oh,
Oh my lord.
okay.
Oh my
Remember
lord.
when video games in the West were allowed to be sexy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some other pictures
There's a
here.
Chinese one for goodness sake.
Any of these you want to look at? Any of these you care?
Bottom right one. That's Rosaria.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. She's
Got
buxom.
fat titties. Has she got a torso? What is that?
I don't think she needs one.
Booster, where we're going, she doesn't need a torso.
That's fair. That is fair. She is a buxom girl, though. I'll give her that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And she's a girl of the Lord.
this one's pretty.
Oh, that's from Fire Emblem, I think. Yeah, it's Violet.
So this is a different game. Oh, damn. This is a really good artist, though. This is Siaman
Shiamano.
240. It's pretty good. It's good stuff. But anyway, I thought we'd start out nice with a little bit of the sexy girls. We appreciate
Thank you,
sexy girls.
Shiamano. I coomed live on air.
There you go. Well, there are some positive silver linings to some of the nonsense going on, because Japan clearly doesn't care about the Western nonsense. Korea is basically follows the Chinese lead. They copy Japan and follow China. That's what Korea does. And China has this big old policy going on where they're not happy, Booster. They think their men have become too soft and they need to toughen them
No,
up. So,
How are they
uh,
doing that?
well, they have a policy of manliness going on with more physical education and just promoting manliness. And of course, what that means is they're going to have more of this kind of stuff be allowed. Sexy girls, sexy video game girls. They're going to kind of lighten up their restrictions a little bit and to
Mhm.
promote the male gaze, you see. And the
Nice.
good thing about that is, of course, Korea will follow suit, and Japan already does their own thing. So coming out of Asia, which does, basically controls the MMO world and lots of other stuff, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. So that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. We should promote manliness. I want to become a man, Chester.
You should go to China, see how that
Yeah.
works out. But
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go well for me.
yeah. Uh, well, anyway, the good thing is though in Asia, if you learn their languages, they're so shocked that a Western mind has any capability of learning their incredibly difficult languages that they show the ultimate respect to you, which is weird because their languages really aren't that tough. I don't know.
Oh.
They kind of have that ego going on here. The written
What do you
languages are a
think is
bit
a
rough
tough
though.
language?
Well, if you want to read, if you talk about reading,
Yeah.
Japanese is ridiculous. There's
No,
literally
I mean
three
speaking or learning a
alphabets.
language though. What is
But if
a
you
what
just
is a
talk about
tough language?
talking,
Yeah.
speaking, Russian's kind of rough.
Uh,
And
French because you have to speak French. That's pretty just tough in general. Like
yeah, that's fair.
having to
That's fair.
deal with that. Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and some of the African languages are a bit rough.
with
Yeah.
all the clicking. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's we discussed this before, but the Africans, when we talk about genetic advantages from one racial group to another racial group, the Africans absolutely have an advantage on language, and it must be genetically based. And they're really good at it. They adapt to it. They speak many languages. It's very common. You have people in Africa who speak literally can speak 100 languages. I mean, it's not exaggerating at all.
I didn't even
Um,
know there were that many languages.
there's almost 4,000 languages on the planet. Um,
We can
uh,
get rid of 90% of those.
we probably could because most of them are just dialects, but you know how it is. But anyway, some of the African languages, I think it's just very difficult for our mouths to shape the sound. But you also have another issue. In your throat, you have a bone that's called the hiatal bone, and what this
But
does is it's how you form and shape sound. And when you're a little kid, of course, it shapes itself to the language you're speaking and eventually becomes more rigid as you get older, and therefore it becomes hard to speak languages that don't flow with that shape. The African language is so melodic and so full of this just incredible bouncing around and using so many gymnastic type of linguistics that their Heidelbone is incredibly well shaped. And therefore, if you don't have that and you're an adult trying to learn something like that, it can be very difficult. Japanese have a trouble with that, and it's something I have to deal with because Japanese is such a monotone, simple language in its vocalizations that their Heidelbone is very rigid and not useful. So many adults here in Japan, there's just certain sounds they can't make. And this is I think, right, why the African language is so difficult for the rest of us.
is that why a Japanese guy once told me to fruck off instead of fuck off?
But probably, yes, that's right. Yeah, that's probably
Rock
what
off,
it
he
is.
said.
That's probably what it is. Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
funny, and it
uh,
just made him more mad.
yeah. And Joshua was very upset that I'm talking. Sorry, Joshua.
Hmm.
What does
Moving on.
what does the Japanese typewriter look like? Well, it's that's a whole difficult conversation. We're not going to get into it. Anyway, Thundera went to sleep on me. Oh well. All right, let's get going. Here we go.
Oh no. Zack Snyder weighs on the idea of a black Superman from J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Okay. Now, um, here's the thing. We know that Zach was getting a lot of love for his Schneider cut of the Justice League,
Yeah.
and a lot of support for him. A lot of people want to see the Schneiderverse continue, even though AT&T doesn't wanna, and the Warner Brothers doesn't wanna. But so he has all that love, all that build up, all of that, right? And then he's stupid enough to to chime in and have an opinion on J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot and Ta-Nehisi Coates' new Black Superman.
Oh,
Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to you read that in your best German because he has the
my
German
best
mentality.
German.
Yeah. Go ahead.
My feeling is that I love JJ. I love what he's done in the past. I'm interested to see what happens. It's a bold and cool and probably long overdue move. Ugh,
Okay.
Germans.
He continues by saying that
Going
he.
for kind of a Werner Herzog.
Yeah, right. He loves Henry Cavill, but that's his Superman, and of course
My
it's time. Now, this little
mine.
comment here of him agreeing with J.J. Abrams, one, and two, thinking that the Black Superman not only is a great idea, but it's a long overdue somehow, probably long overdue somehow.
We've
I
had
wonder if
so
that's going to
many.
absolutely burn him down and kill the whole Snyderverse stuff.
We've had so many. Why does it have to be Kal-El?
Yeah, why does it
You
have to be
can't just
Kal-El?
let us have our Superman.
Why
Oh,
can't it just be a different guy? Yeah, that's right. But I'm just saying that. Do you think that's going to hurt the Snyderverse loyalists who are pushing hard for it?
I doubt it. To be honest, we'll have to see if they've even seen this comment. I don't really care enough. I wasn't looking forward to the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I was pleasantly surprised. It was still riddled with problems, but I'm not going to pretend like I didn't have a good time watching it. Right?
Oh no, it sucked balls. It was a horrible movie. But it was certainly better than the first one. But it was a bad movie, dude. It was way too
I don't
long. It
think
was
it,
full
no,
of shit.
it wasn't a bad movie at all. I've had fun watching it,
Well,
but there was still problems with it.
the mistake they made was they should have dropped it as 4 episodes, not as a 4-hour movie. They shouldn't have done that.
Probably. I could see that argument. Problem would be trying to figure out where to stop stuff, but again, that's just editing, right? It's a bit of a swap here and there, and you can make it flow correctly.
Yeah, no. There were certainly editing problems. I agree. There was the soundtrack was pretty bad in a lot of places.
You mean every time Wonder Woman went, ah!
Yeah, and then the weird folky song for Aquaman. It's like what?
I don't. Yeah,
What?
that was weird. That was a waste of time.
It's
I
out
don't.
of
I don't
nowhere.
get that at all.
Is Thundera left us?
Yeah,
Is he not here? I don't hear him speaking.
I think he's
I'm
off
not
doing something.
because I'm not speaking.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
good.
okay.
I just want to know you were alive. In case you died on air, I wanted to announce it to the world, and we have our 30 seconds of silence.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right. Yeah.
Well, Thunder,
For you, I'll give you a minute, bro.
you give him a minute. Oh, you're kind. No, seriously, the reason I put this up, Thunder, is because not that an idiot Hollywood guy has a stupid opinion, but I'm curious of how this is going to affect because he's in a fight right now to get the Snyderverse made, and we know it's not a final done deal. Not only have we had all kind of weird noises come out of AT&T, we see that Warner Brothers is not happy because they want to do their woke stuff, but they're clearly getting walled off here, by AT&T. And we started out with the conversation talking about AT&T is literally thinking about just scrubbing Warner Brothers in general. And so Zack Snyder is in a real fight to not only get more work, therefore more money for himself, but to further put his vision out. And for him sitting there saying not only is a black Superman, a black Kal-El, a great idea, it's long overdue. You don't think that's going to hurt him?
No. I don't think there's any chance of them continuing Snyderverse because it was an utter flop. The Snyder Cut.
I agree. Yeah.
It was one of the biggest flops in the history of streaming. In fact, that's the dirty little secret they're not talking about. Yeah, it completely failed. Utterly failed.
Well, they haven't been doing well with the streaming in general, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that specifically was just a complete flop. There was no chance of it continuing. The sad thing is Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
All this talk of Schneider aside, he did one good thing, and that was cast Henry as Superman. That's the only good thing he did in his whole run, was have Henry be Superman.
I don't hate Gal, though. I don't hate her.
Well, okay, she's fine, but I think she was chosen. I don't think he chose her, if I'm being honest.
I mean, they could
I
have
don't
found
know
a
why. I
better.
just have a feeling that that was a studio pick because she was doing other stuff for them and for other studios at the
Yeah,
time.
maybe. Yeah.
No, I could absolutely believe that Zack Snyder watched Fast and Furious. It's
Well,
his kind of movie.
You mean that
So I can
scrawny,
believe
that
he
scene
picked
with
that.
her
possible.
scrawny ass moving around? It's not
Yeah,
sexy at all. That
exactly.
scene, yeah. But
Yeah, there was she had nothing going on
she
there.
had
But my
nothing
point
going on at
is
all.
the only real loss here. We don't really need more Snyder movies of any kind, but especially not DC ones. So, in my opinion, the only real loss here is Henry Cavill. We'll probably never get him a real Superman movie.
Maybe not. Yeah.
And that's a travesty of justice in the world because he was born for that role.
He was.
He
I
looks
agree.
just like him. He moves just like him. I mean, if Superman could be made into a real person, it would be him.
Yep, I agree.
And he
What
always wanted to
Superman
be
from him?
Superman. Like that
Mhm.
was a dream role for him. And all Warner Brothers has done the whole time is fuck him around. Literally the whole time, from
Yeah.
pretty much day one. They
It is
screwed him over.
unfortunate. And the boy that they have, what's the boy's name? Booster. That's going to be playing Superman. He's not a bad little actor.
We don't have him yet, but I think you're thinking of Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about.
That's just like the guy that people want to cast.
Yeah,
It's so predictable though. Michael B. Jordan's always getting Whitey's leftovers. It's so strange.
Well, the thing also with it though is, I do think he's a capable actor. I don't mind him at all. I don't think I've seen him in anything I hated. But he's not the right person for that at all. He's too small. He doesn't have the build. He's not the right choice for it. But whatever. It's all dumb anyway. And it's just to piss people off. I mean, why do you keep wasting money just to piss people off? It's dumb.
Very
I will
strange.
make one last comment about the Gal Gadot, moment in Fast and Furious. If some scrawny ass chick come walked over and sat my ass on my lap, I would tell her to get her bony ass off my lap. That's what I'd say. I mean, that whole scene
Jackie
of her
has
trying to
to
sell shit
Jackie,
is like
get to my
bullshit.
knees.
You trying? What are you going to put a hole in me? Get off of me! Get off of me! But all right, I'll move on. But this is
She's looking good now, though. I wouldn't kick her
she's
off.
built herself up a little bit. I'm not the hugest Gal fan, but she's fine. She's fine.
I wouldn't kick her out a bit. Kidding me?
Well, dude, your standards are rather low, Booster.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway,
I know.
let's move on. Now this one is just wonderful. Go ahead.
Margot Robbie wants Warner Bros. To bring Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's romance to DC cinema. This is the strangest thing to me, this pairing of Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. It literally just came out of nowhere in the comic books, and then they just sort of ran with it with everything else.
And they have, and it's been on all media. They've presented it.
And I guess people have accepted it, so whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, there are several problems with it.
Yeah.
And not beyond the fact that they've been trying to rehabilitate Harley Quinn into some kind of anti-hero, even though she's a psychotic villain. They've tried their
Who
best
is
to do
murdered.
that. The problem, and of course the whole lesbian thing, or whatever floats your boat, I guess. And it's all has to do with this shipping thing you told me about a while ago.
Yeah.
But the problem you have more than any of that is Poison Ivy herself. She is literally a genocidal maniac. Literally.
An eco-terrorist.
Yeah, there's nothing, you can't salvage that character in a heroic way at all. She literally wants the death of humanity, including Harley Quinn. I don't understand the logic. Please help me understand, Thundero.
There's no logic in it at all. You're trying to use logic to explain the illogical.
You keep telling me not to use my logic, sir. I protest.
There's just some things you can't use logic. There's just some things you can't use your logic against.
Yeah, but
because
I understand trying to
it's
rehabilitate.
like that whole thing where it's like you have no power here.
Yeah, but see, I understand trying to rehabilitate Harley Quinn. I do. I get it. She's very popular. She's a sexy little thing, and there is a redemption arc that can be done. I get it. I'm okay with Harley Quinn going that direction, but you can't do this with Poison Ivy. You just can't. The whole character is based upon the destruction of humanity to free her fellow plants.
And
That's her whole
through
thing.
manipulation and mind control.
Yeah, but she wants them all dead. She wants us dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to say something that a lot of people aren't going to like. The only reason Harley Quinn's popular is because there's so many damaged women in the world.
Oof.
And they like Joker and her abusive relationship. It turns them on.
I
know.
just thought she had nice tits and ass. I mean,
Nah, she's not even that pretty.
no.
Especially the original interpretation of her. She was wearing that full body suit. Wasn't. Ugh.
They adjusted
Blech.
that later, though.
Compare that to Poison
I'd work
Ivy,
with that.
specifically, in fact. Like,
I'd work
good
with
lord.
that.
Or Catwoman. Way sexier characters. Way
Yeah.
sexier.
Well, Poison Ivy uses her sensuality to get her end mean. She does do that. But the thing that you cannot remove from Poison Ivy is her murderous intention. And and Harley Quinn is a human. It doesn't. It just. It's dumb. It doesn't. It. Damn it. Damn it. But whatever. I guess Margot's all about the lesbian stuff. So rock on, Harley Quinn. You get it there, Margot. I do have to say that she does embody the character. So I think it's fine that it's her thing. But I didn't know that Margot was all into being a lesbian. So that's cool. That's rocks on. Although I've been told in these days that all women are lesbians. Someone said that to me, and I don't understand that. But alrighty then. I asked my wife, and she disagreed, Booster.
No, she doesn't want to bump uglies with another Japanese chick.
Not interested.
No.
Yeah, not interested.
No rubbing beavers, nothing.
Yeah, I told her. I said, "You're out of touch with the modern world." She just kind of looked at me sideways. She doesn't get sarcasm all the time. I think it's a language barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. But I just thought this is dumb, dude. Dumb. Anyway, but this is still Warner Brothers related. So I'm curious because we're getting a bunch of noise that AT&T is not happy. So how many of these projects that have been, seemingly greenlit are actually going to see fruition? I'm curious. Let's change lanes a little bit and go to Disney because my God. Yeah, go ahead. It starts with the word report. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, my brain. Oh, fuck me, dead. All right. There have been a lot of really dumb headlines in the few years we've done this, all right, Chester? Some of them because someone just said something renownedly stupid, made some kind of statement or whatever with the headlines. But this one's just weird.
It is.
Report, Loki series inspired by Teletubbies.
Horrible show. Done by Simon Cowell, by the way. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is not a rumor. This is coming straight out of the creators, dude. They reference Blade Runner, Mad Men, and Teletubbies as inspiration for the creation of the Loki series. This is not a rumor. This is legit. So,
well, as the Joker has now been famously quoted, you get what you fucking deserve.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. We saw WandaVision, and it was meh. And it kind of irritated people the way they ended it, and we found out it ended like that because they decided they couldn't have Doctor Strange in there because white men, so they shot themselves literally in the face. Then they come out with the Winter Soldier, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that didn't go down well. And of course, no one was giving him a hard time for being Captain America, as Mr. Mackey said. But of course, why would anyone care?
But we wanted people to be racist towards him.
Well, the show itself was racist, and it did very poorly because people were not happy with it, right? So far, we've had two of these Disney Plus Marvel things, and they both have failed. Loki is the next one, maybe. I don't know if it's the next one, but they've been talking about it quite a bit, and the trailer itself is interesting. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, because I really thought that we were going to get the comic book switch where Hiddleston came in, did a cameo, died, and then they brought in the gay, whatever other kid version of him. But it's not what we're
Hello,
getting.
I'm Loki.
Well, that's not what we're getting though. So,
Oh man,
I don't know though. But
kind of looking forward to a train wreck.
the thing is if Loki comes out and fails as the other two have, well, what happens to the MCU? Because we know that Disney is $600 million in the hole right now, and there's no light in sight. So
Oh, they might have to try to, cease taking over the world. I don't know. That'd be a shame.
I guess Thundero doesn't have opinions today.
No, Thundero doesn't feel well.
Aw.
No, Disney's not going anywhere.
Of course they're not.
Nah.
I'm not talking
Disney
about
would
Disney.
literally get bailed out by our government before our government allowed Disney to die.
That's true. I agree with that 100%. But I'm talking more about how Disney allocates funds.
They don't care. Don't care. As long as that stock price keeps going up, they don't care. They'll have more money than God, and they can always just liquidate something here or there and be fine.
Yeah.
They just simply don't care. They don't care if they lose money anymore. They're post-money, post-profit company. That's where they're at now because they know that one, they have their whales that aren't going anywhere. People who will pay exorbitant amounts of money to go to their stupid little gay theme parks and spend thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars there. There's millions of them like that that'll do it constantly, multiple times a year, in fact. It's a cult. Disney is a cult.
Oh,
And
that's fair.
it's one of the most successful cults in the world.
That's fair. Yeah. Do keep in
Hail
mind this
Mickey
article
Mouse.
doesn't tell us why Teletubbies is part of the inspiration. It says, you'll have to wait and see. So joyous. Now, Colfin Video says Anthony Mackie has sucked since his debut in Spike Lee's She Hate Me. He doesn't deserve roles.
I
Well,
don't dislike Anthony Mackie. I think he's alright.
well, I think he's a good supporting character. He's good with that.
Yeah.
But when he's up front, he's not he can't carry it. He doesn't have the charisma. I don't have no
Yeah.
trouble with Anthony whatsoever. But he's not a leading man. He just doesn't have it,
Mm.
And I don't know why. I don't know why if you compare him to another actor like Denzel Washington, why does Denzel have it in spades where he can actually phone it in and still make an Oscar level movie? Where Anthony is trying his best, which you can see he is, and it just doesn't burn for him. I mean, why is that? I don't know. If you could figure that out, you'll become very wealthy, I think.
He just doesn't have it.
No.
People are born. It's something kind of just born with.
Boy, you are. I think
just don't feel
Hiddleston's
like
got
it's
it,
something
by the way.
I just don't feel like it's something you can learn. Maybe you
Well,
can. I don't know.
no, I don't think so. I think it's there's just something about it. Hiddleston, interestingly, here, in those Thor movies were not good, which is sad for me because Thor is one of my favorite characters. I don't have a trouble with Hemsworth per se, but he once again is a supporting actor guy. He's good in that when he's in the Avenger movies, but he's not good at the lead. However, Hiddleston as Loki carried any good things that come out of those movies. I mean, he's the best villain they ever had in the whole 13-year run was freaking Loki, dude. Don't you think?
No, Thanos. Best villain. But Loki was
Uh,
pretty good too. And the
Yeah.
problem with Loki is he's not really a villain. Except for in the first Avengers movie, and I guess the first Thor movie too. Other than that, right after the first Avengers movie, he was a anti-hero pretty much from then on.
Well,
Look,
because
Him and
as soon
Thor
as
people
the
worked
liked
first
him.
together.
Avengers movie
Yeah.
hit, right, Loki was just really popular with all the insufferable chicks that I fucking hated, the Tumblr types. So I've
Yep.
kind of disliked them ever since, if I'm being honest with you.
My daughter loves Tom Hiddleston. She waited
Exactly.
in line to get his autograph.
I don't get it, to be honest. I think he was a joke of a villain. I thought it was pathetic.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of that kind of conversation, but we don't know why the Teletubbies is part of the inspiration, but I guess we'll find out. I personally would like the Marvel universe, the Disney Plus thing they're doing, I want it to succeed. I think it would be great to have a bunch of high end, high priced, creative Marvel stuff. I would love it, dude. But we just keep getting punched in the balls, dude. Jiminy Cricket's only 30 hours left for his Secret Comics Presents, guys. Go check that out, please. It's great. Of
Go
course,
get Jiminy paid.
well, no, Jiminy's a great artist, guys. Definitely go check that out. Hellrod says that Denzel is bland. People love bland. MCU wasted all
What?
the villains. No,
What an
Denzel is
incorrect
magic,
opinion about
sir.
the Denzel.
Magic.
What an incorrect opinion.
Yeah. Now, Denzel's a really good actor. He's got that man. He's all charismatic and shit. Anyway, let's move on here. Now, this is taking a bit of interlude. I'm going to come back to the general conversation today, but I saw this and I have no clue what it is, but it looked interesting. Go ahead, Booster.
We have Ed Piscor. What the fuck kind of name is that? Red Room Comics coming soon from Fantagraphics.
Fantagraphics. I don't know any of this stuff.
No, they're trying to do like a. It's not Fantagraphics, just it's not like a Fanta-based graphic and design thing.
It says
it's supposed to be like fantastic,
Fantagraphics.
So it's Fantagraphics.
No,
it's
not
Fantagraphics.
Fantagraphics.
It's got nothing to do with Fanta.
Dude, I'm an English teacher.
I'm thirsty all
correct.
of a sudden.
Are you sure?
Yes, it is Fantagraphics.
I've seen your spelling.
Ed Pisker's Red Room comics coming soon from Fantagraphics. Anyway, I saw this and I was like, "What the hell is?" Because I don't know any of those things. I don't know Ed Pisker. I don't know Red Room, and I don't know this comic book company. But I looked at the comic here and I'm like, "What the hell is this, dude? Look at this weird thing. The internet urban legend is true. Red Room." So is this from one of those spooky pasta things, or
As soon as I see Dark Web, I just cringe.
but look at the art. It's kind of interesting, dude.
It's cool. Spooky.
Anybody in the chat have any clue what this is, dude?
I don't know what you're showing me, to be honest with you.
I don't either, but it kind of reminds me of the old horror comics that we used to get.
Why does
way
that man have fat breasts?
Because he's supposed to be disgusting
He has like actual titties.
and creepy.
Yes.
But I mean, it's interesting art. You don't think it's interesting?
It's alright.
Yeah, Jimmy, I said it correct. I know I did. It's Fantagraphics. Yeah, I'm correct.
No, he's trying to be like fantastic, right? So you're saying it like Fanta, like the fucking fizzy drink. Oh, the pop drink. Pardon me.
Well, but see, it doesn't have the same grammatic points that would make it what you want it to be. Grammatically, it must be Fantagraphics.
Move on.
Moving on. But I'm curious because I don't know what this is. I thought it was kind of interesting though. It did give me a bit of a nostalgic look back, and I don't know what it is. I still want to read Pisker's X-Men books for a couple of years back. Okay, see, I don't know who this person is. I ordered. It looks great. Ed Pisker does the cartoonist K-Fab show. What is a K-Fab? What's a K-Fab?
Kababe?
Anybody?
Cartoons Kababe. I think that's just the name of it. And I think Kababe is a wrestling term.
Well, K-Fab. This is a wrestling term.
Kayfabe. Sorry, I am really out of it. Yeah, it's
Kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
Like trying to say Kababe. What is this?
It is Kayfabe. You are right. Yeah.
Is a wrestling term. It just means fake. It means keep the illusion alive.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, like when wrestling was supposed to be real, right? Even though anybody with a brain,
you sit there and take Kababe.
It is Kayfabe.
I was literally falling asleep.
Sorry about that.
Your guys' argument was the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you.
The kayfabe is literally wrestling speak for keep the magic of the show, the fourth wall, right? Don't break the fourth wall. Don't let people know that it's fake. It's an old carny term, kayfabe, right? Because most carny shit was fake too, right?
Sure.
But you didn't know that, or at least you weren't supposed to know that. But anybody with a brain who's ever been in a real fight knew pro wrestling was fake, by the way.
Oh, sure,
like, that's not what fights look like, guys.
Yeah. Jiminy mentioned it looks like R. Crumb weirdness. It does. It's all about snuff on the internet. Pablo says, "Okay, that's weird. Definitely get that Crumb vibe. Yeah, no, I get that. They're old school independent comics from back in the day. Okay, the, the X-Men grand design and hip hop family tree. Oh god, you're looking at comic book kayfabe. Ed Pisker comic on stores soon. Okay, he is a Crumb fan. All right. What's the Ed and his co-host Jim Rugg? All right, wrestling
Cool.
term. It's an interesting channel. I've seen a couple of episodes and like their deep dives. All right, so that helps me understand a little bit. It is interesting looking. I like the art. It has that creepy, horrific feel to it. I might have to check this out, dude. I just saw it and I was like, huh? I thought we sit and have a chat. Thank you guys for knowing about it. That's pretty cool. But anyway, let's move on. I just was curious. That was more of a curiosity for me. This right here, I do have an opinion on. However, Booster, go ahead.
What do we have? Heroes Reborn, Peter Parker, The Amazing Shutterbug, #1 review. Not bad. The
All right.
Amazing Shutterbug?
Yeah, now out of this whole Heroes Reborn crap, and now we don't know how it's going to go in the long run. We know with DC, they come out with that short run, but you see a lot of those things being translated into the main DC line. And I'm kind of curious if Reborn is going to do the same thing. This is an Elseworld story. It is in the future where there's no Captain America, and yada 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 yada. The Supreme, what do they call them? The something Supreme. Well, Hyperion and his people are kind of in charge of the world and et cetera, et cetera. But this one irritates me more than any other. Peter Parker has been delegated down to just being a photojournalist. He's not a superhero. He's nothing but a shutterbug.
Why
So
is Wonder Woman there?
that's not Wonder Woman. It's one of the new Heroes Reborn characters. But it's
Could
I
have
get
fooled
your point
me.
though. It is a rip off, but they rip each other off all the time. But
Yeah.
doesn't this irritate anybody else?
Is it supposed to be a one-off thing? What is this?
Well, the
Or are
Heroes
they...
Reborn is an Elseworld story, but my curiosity is:
Okay.
are we going to see translations from that into the mainstream comics? Which we probably will. I have a feeling they'll do the same thing DC is
Hope
doing.
not.
Um, and I can't imagine that Peter would be, but maybe he will be. Maybe it'll just be Miles Morales from now on is Spider-Man because they're
Ugh.
irritated because it's to the point that they can't say Spider-Man because everyone thinks Peter Parker, so they always have to say Miles Morales Spider-Man. They always have to put his name
Yeah.
in front of it, and that irritates the shit out of him, dude. You know it does.
Well, they could have just not been retards and give him a different name.
Yeah,
Just
call him
retire
Ghost
the damn
Spider or something.
character. The thing that's killing Western comics, American comics, is the fact that characters never end. They're everlasting. Maybe they should have just retired Spider-Man for a while. They still would have made money off Spider-Man merch. I don't know why they have this idea that they have to continuously, constantly, always make comic books specifically about that character, not just have him show up occasionally to maintain their trademark status. Why they have to continuously do that to keep the profit of the merch up? Because, spoiler alert, guys, he makes way more money on merch sales than he ever did on comic book sales.
Oh, I
Spider-Man.
imagine that's very true.
It's not even
Yeah.
close. Not even close. So I don't understand why they insist that they have to do this, because we all know it's not true. Here's how we know they don't actually believe that. When the MCU was running at its hottest, they didn't change anything in the comics to match the MCU. Why wouldn't, if the comic sales drive merch sales or matter in regards to their overall bottom line, they would have done that, but they don't. So why bother continuously bringing back Peter Parker or continuously going on with Peter Parker's Spider-Man? They have Miles. If they want to make him the legacy character, fine, but just don't call him Spider-Man, and then people they won't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Give him a different name. There's other things he can be called. He doesn't have to be Spider-Man.
It just seems insulting to me.
Well, that's the point of it. It's
yeah.
to insult. It's to insult white people. That's the whole
And to
point.
insult the characters that people like. This is supposedly in the future. Blade is the only one who remembers the true past, and yada yada yada. But one of the big premises is Captain America never came out of World War II, and this kind of let the Squadron Supreme end up doing what they're doing, and it's all Captain's fault in a way. But and that was the premise of Heroes Reborn. But here's the thing, Booster.
What do we have? What do we have over here? Avengers reveals why one MCU icon in Heroes Reborn is Heroes Reborn's last hope. Is it? Who is it?
Captain America.
Oh,
I mean, are you kidding me? You set the whole damn premise up that Cap's not around, and therefore his great heroicness isn't there to keep the Squadron Supreme from doing what they're doing. Yada 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 yada. And then what do? They bring him back. Here he is with Blade. Cap's back. So what's the point? What's the
Yay.
hope? What's the point?
The point is they ran out of ideas in 1992, and they have no original ideas left, or even anything remotely interesting.
Yeah,
I haven't. I've been doing this now with you guys for how long? Like 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Very few things that have been talked about coming out of any of the DC or Marvel has actually interest me in that amount of time. And it's been longer than that, because I haven't been an avid reader in 15, 20 years. And I've heard very few things, storylines or whatever, that even remotely interest me. I think the last one that really got my interest was that fucking Mr. Miracle run that Tom King started, and just wow, did that end badly.
Yeah.
They're completely devoid of creativity. They don't know how to do this anymore, and it's because they refuse to let characters die. The reason manga's killing it is because it ends. It's finite.
Well, and
that's why it's killing it.
I mean,
the writing helps, but what helps the writing is that there's an end to the story.
Yeah.
Most of these books, or a lot of them anyway, especially the really big ones, the guys consistently say, yeah, I know how the story ends. They already know how they're going to end their story. They already have it figured out before they start it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to see you're finally coming around to my point of view, Thundero. That's good. Because I said, if you recall, quite a while back, what they should do is reset the MCU completely, take the old characters, put them in their 60s and 70s settings where they were doing classic Marvel, and just retell the stories from different points of view with different artists and stuff like that, and then have your Marvel now. And everything, it's all legacy and whatever's going on now. That's what they should do. And I've said that, and people said, no, Chester, you can't get rid of the legacy characters, or excuse me, the characters like that. And I'm like, why not? You still have the classic characters set in their original setting, which would be cool. And then you have a complete open slate to do whatever the hell you want.
And I actually agree with you, because the idea there is you can have two totally different tones. So you can have the older stuff set for more of like a family tone, right? For anybody can read it. You can have the more modern stuff. A lot of it would be more, aggressive, I guess you could call it, a little edgier, whatever. And that would be a great contrast. And I can almost guarantee you the older school stuff would sell way more.
Yeah, but that would allow them to do what they want with the modern stuff freely. And you also have the Max line as well, and of course the kids tag that you could put on. You could do the classic stuff a little harsher run if you want to. I really think that's the way to go, because it would allow them financial stability, and it would allow them to do the things they're doing. See, if there were comics available where we got to enjoy our characters, and you had the lesbian brigade over here doing their thing, well, okay, fine. I'm not going to read that, but you keep trying to do what you're doing. But that's not what they're doing. That we have to destroy what exists because we only get the lesbian brigade. You see, I don't know, but this is dumb to me. Heroes Reborn was supposed to be a set out planned event thing. Now, how do you have that, and all of a sudden you're changing gears in the middle of it? Didn't you prepare the whole thing? What are you doing, Abrams?
Pretty much. That's a big problem. That's a big problem all the way around with modern comics. It's why I quit reading a long time ago, because I felt like I was just on a treadmill. I wasn't really going anywhere. And I think they could solve a lot of their problems if they stop worrying about the financials of the brand and start just telling good stories.
Yeah.
The brand Marvel Comics is more important, or at least it should be, to Marvel than the brand of Spider-Man. because the brand of Spider-Man should make the brand of Marvel stronger.
Yep. Yep.
But it doesn't, and it outshines the brand of Marvel, or at least it used to. I don't know about it anymore. It outshines it, or did, because the character is a forever thing. It's what gets the focus, yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm not saying they need to only focus on themselves and become some kind of weird narcissistic thing that they already are anyway. I'm saying that if things have structure the way they should, your brand overall becomes much stronger. A great example is manga. Look at shonen and things of this. Shonen does very well. Individual books in shonen also do very well. They share that load of relevance. Whereas in Marvel Comics, I don't know if that's the case outside of like super comic book nerds. I don't think it might be different now. It probably is thanks to the MCU. But before the MCU, most people didn't give a shit about Marvel. Right? They didn't care one way or another about the brand of Marvel.
No.
Right? It wasn't. It was just apathy towards it. But now with the MCU, I think that might be a change. There's a big cult following for it now.
Which
But
you would think they would be doing better in their sales, but of course people go
yes,
and they're like, "Hey, I want a Captain America. Hey, I want Iron Man. I want this," and they can't find what they just saw in the movie. That's a problem.
yep,
There's no crossover going on. And I want to make a
yeah,
little comment here from this little panel we're looking at. Hyperion, which I've always kind of enjoyed the character. He is kind of villain-esque, and he has his back and forth moments. Like I said, with him with Miss Marvel, I thought was a great teaming. They're both kind of broken characters trying to find each other and trying to find themselves. I thought it was good. Nevertheless, he's a Trumpian character in this Heroes Reborn, is what he's representing. And here you have Captain America, which is interesting, going to be fighting the Trumpian character, but whatever. The man of American might. If you don't mind me saying, you should maybe take a day off. You don't look so hot. Now look at this. Gah, that actually hurts. The handshake, right? Why do I suddenly feel so weak around this man? Sir, I'm afraid, whatever. But now, of course, in reality, Cap, of course, is a super soldier. He is an enhanced human. Hyperion is the replacement for Superman. He would this is ridiculous. This would never happen. But whatever. I just, my God, dude, what are you people doing? What are you people doing?
it's real dumb.
It is dumb. I got to move on
The
because
whole
I'm going to get
concept
mad.
is dumb.
Now let's get into some other stuff I thought was interesting. Go ahead, Booster.
Oh, it's John Boyega. It's Finn of Star Wars
Hmm.
and Joe Cornish reunite for Attack the Block 2.
Now, have you guys seen Attack the Block?
Never even heard of it.
No. It's the only place I saw John Boyega before, and I think that's why he got the job in the Star Wars movies. And keep in mind, even though the first Force Awakens wasn't a great flick, the best thing coming out of it, in my opinion, was John Boyega's Finn character. And of course, they just absolutely decimated that character later for some odd reason. I don't know why. Nevertheless,
Because China doesn't like black people.
fair enough.
That's
That's probably exactly it, and it's bullshit. And he's said this out loud, and I guess he's right. The thing
he
is,
probably is.
he
Sadly,
probably is. Attack the Block was a great movie. It was a little indie sci-fi horror type of flick. It wasn't too big budget. I guess it would kind of fall in the B category, but it was a good fun movie. I liked his character in it, so I'm actually excited about Attack the Block 2. I'd like to see it with a little bit more money and see what they can do with it. The thing that's funny for me is poor Boyega here is getting thrown, basically having to backtrack himself to find opportunity. And I think that's unfortunate. And I know he makes a bunch of noise and stuff, but as we just said, I think it's valid points he's making, though. Because one thing we definitely know about these virtue signaling bastards that are all around us for some reason, these Karens of the world, um, they don't care about racial things or homosexuals or any of the things they go on and on about. They don't care about those people at all. All they do is care about themselves. And some of the most racist and isms and phobias and various things that you hear about all the time, the best examples of them are always coming out of these liberals. And Disney is a perfect example because they did toss him aside. And it's and they did it because I'm sure Thundero's right. It had a lot to do with China because that seems to be the teeth
China.
they wish to suckle at.
Yeah,
Have- you know,
and China's not interested,
and
which is
China's not
still
interested.
hilarious to me.
I know. Uh,
Absolutely hilarious to me.
Now, Booster, being a minority yourself, what do you think about that?
About being a little brown man.
Hmm.
I just, as a fellow minority, as an incredibly black person myself who loves some fried chicken,
Hmm.
I just cannot believe that they're pandering to these China folk,
The Chinaman, yeah, I know it's horrible.
the Chinamen.
Uh,
China.
Nevertheless, I just thought it was interesting putting it up and worth mentioning. If you haven't seen Attack on the Block, check it out. It's a fun movie, and I hope this one is too. It's just a good old straight up fun movie. It doesn't have any nonsense in it. It's fun, and John's good in it. And I understand why they saw him in that and was like, "Hey, let's bring this kid in and see what he can do." And in the first movie, he was the shining light. And unfortunately, because of politics and straight up racism from Disney, he got sidelined, and it's a shame because in truth, he should have been the Jedi. He should have become the Jedi. That's what they should have done with
Well,
him.
here's the whole problem with The Force Awakens. Well, one of the major problems. It was really, 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 really expensive fan fiction. It was literally stoners sitting around be like, dude, bruh, what if there were black stormtroopers? Bruh, what about a black stormtrooper? And it was basically just that in movie form.
Probably.
I did
Yeah.
like Finn a lot
Yeah.
as a character in the first movie. I thought he was. You're probably right. He was probably the best character of a terrible bunch, but still, of the new characters anyway, he was the strongest.
I think so.
But it didn't matter because they had absolutely no plan for him. They had nothing for him to do in any of the movies, to the point that the second movie, they gave him a completely contrived animal environmentalist plot randomly that nobody liked. I don't think. I don't think I've heard a single person say they liked that little subplot in
Oh,
the
the Rose
casino.
Tico thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Rose Tico and all that. And I don't know what they did in the third movie. I refuse to
I
endure
didn't
it.
watch it either. Yeah. Yeah.
But from what I can tell, it wasn't much with Mister
Well, people say it's the
Boyega's
worst of the
character.
three.
Yeah, which I can't possibly believe. I don't know. I don't. If there's worse than actual fiery hell pits of despair, then maybe. But from my understanding, fiery hell pits of despair are kind of as bad as it gets, because
Yeah.
Last Jedi was just.
It was
There's not.
really bad.
If there's a word worse than awful, it's that times 1,000.
Putrescent.
Like, oh, there you go. Fine. Yes. The whole essence of that movie was mean spirited. It was designed to make you hate it, and designed because they hate you, fans of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And John Boyega, they hate you too because you're black.
Yeah, it's so weird, dude. It's so weird. It's sad. But do keep in mind, new rumors coming out of Disney is Rey's coming back, and she's the future of Star Wars. So there you go. Literally, the most uninteresting character is your future. Thank you. Anyway, I do got a couple things here. We need to move on because my time's going to start clicking out here real quick. But I thought these were interesting. Go ahead, Booster.
Ready myself, nerd. I'm in the kitchen.
All right,
I'm
Ant-Man.
making
Ant-Man and the
chicken
Wasp,
eggs.
Quantumania will utilize the Mandalorian's the volume. What?
Okay. Well, the volume is the thing they use for Mandalorian to do the CG. And I guess it's a cheaper and more effective way. And from watching The Mandalorian, they did a good job with it for creating sets and worlds that they can walk around in because there's a lot of blue screen in
Hmm.
those movies, and they're going to be using it for this. Okay, now me personally, I love the first Ant-Man. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I thought it was fun and quirky. It was a very different type of MCU movie. It was just it was comedy. It's comedy, is what it is, and I thought they did it well. I laughed and chuckled many times throughout that movie. The second one was dumb. They should have just called it The Wasp. I don't understand why they had to have Ant-Man in there at all. I mean, and I don't know what they're afraid of. This actress is fine. The Wasp is one of the original Avengers anyway. So I don't know why they did that. But we're getting the third one where they're back together. Okay, fine. I don't know about the dynamic between the two because she's just a nasty, mean lady, and he's like, okay. I don't know what's the point. Where's the love there? Because she's not nice. She's kind of the typical women, this portrayed woman these days, where she knows everything. She's better at everything. She can kick his butt. She is superior in every single way, and she's being nasty. But somehow he loves her.
And yet she's the supporting character and not the main one.
I know, it's weird. Which is not the way Wasp was ever. That's not her character at all. So
Quite
this
the
isn't
opposite,
the one.
in fact. He
He's
was
quite.
kicking her ass.
Well, everyone kind of goes to that, but that was a little offshoot a
It
storyline.
was
That's
just a
not the
prank.
norm.
It was just a prank, Chester. I was making a joke, Chester. It was just a
Fine.
prank, Chester.
Fine. No, that's what you want. That's what you want. You want poor Wasp beat up and traumatized. That's what you want. I know.
I want to beat the fuck out of him.
What the fuck is happening tonight?
I don't know. Anyway, we're getting a third one. I really hope it is good. I hope they tone down her nastiness a little bit, seeing as they're supposed to be in love. Maybe it'll be a little better. And I hope it's good. But the fact that they are using the volume, which the thing they call the software they're using, it's good. I thought the Mandalorian looked great. The episodes were fun. I mean, it wasn't a perfect thing, but it was good fun, and everyone enjoyed it, and it looked really good. So that's a good thing. But the second part of this article, where it's talking, or the related article here, Jonathan Major confirms as Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp is interesting. Kang the Conqueror is going to be the big villain they're going after, which makes sense if you know the character. So all right, but this seems to be kind of interesting because it looks like Marvel and Disney is pushing Kang as the next big bad. Okay. That's fine. He is powerful and capable. There are many choices. You go Kang. You can go with Annihilus. There are many serious threats you could go with. But the reason I say it looks
Surprised
like
they're not going with Collective, to be honest.
I kind of
Since
thought
they've got
so,
them
but
now.
it doesn't
Yeah.
look like it because they're pushing him all over the place. And here's another example of it, Booster.
But I can't look at it, just I'm in the
Oh,
kitchen.
Thundero, go
I'm
ahead.
making bacon and niggies.
Marvel
Making
Comics
bacon
thinks it's
niggies.
time to tell Kang the Conqueror's origin.
Okay, we can't have any mystery anymore. We got to make sure we do that. But the fact that they're bringing him back, they're telling his origin story. They're going to put a whole series of comic books focused on him to tell this character and build this character up in the comic book, which is what they do. They cross over, right? And or at least they try to. So Marvel is pushing Kang. He's the bad guy in Ant-Man and Wasp. I think this is where they're heading. And it's not a bad choice. I mean, Kang can certainly make a more interesting story. And if you think about what they did in WandaVision as well, even though they screwed it up, Kang could certainly play into that. So I feel that this is where they're going. I think Kang is your next big bad. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty obvious. It is. You can't do all this time travel BS.
He's alright, but he's kind of one-dimensional character, though. You know, he just like captures princesses and throws barrels of Italians. I don't get it, but whatever. Man.
Yeah, but I mean, they could use him and just write a good reason why
You're
he's
just
doing
gonna
it.
ignore that.
All right. But it is a time travel type character, right? So
yeah, all that time travel stuff was definitely what's the word I'm looking for? A foreshadowing for where they were going.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. But it does tell us this Quantumania here is going to take place in the microverse a lot, I think.
What are all these over-the-top kooky fucking titles lately?
Well,
Love and Thunder, Quantumania, Multiverse of Madness.
Booster.
Trying way too hard.
Booster.
What is it?
We don't mention
What?
Love and Thunder here.
Oh.
Okay.
One of his trigger words. I apologize.
Anyway, there you go. That's what we have for today. I think I don't know. Lots of nonsense, lots of stupidity, and
wraps up another episode of the Whinging Nerds. Thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I hope we see something fun drop somewhere. Even though the Loki thing with the Teletubbies, which they just said the creator said it was an inspiration, and they didn't give us anything other than that. But I hope Loki's good because I know a lot of people are just done with the MCU. I get it, I do, but I really want cool Marvel stuff, man. I really do. And all I can do is just keep hoping that I get it. I understand they're going to keep disappointing me. I get it. But eventually something cool is going to drop. Eventually, John Favreau is going to step up here or there and give us something cool before they try to destroy them. Although it looks like Gina Carano and Favreau have won, and they're going to be trying to bring her back. But whatever, we'll see. Um, I don't know. Am I just really dumb, Thundero, for not giving up hope and just
Yes,
being living in
yes,
despair?
yes,
All right, fine.
yes. You don't have to live in despair. Just these companies hate you.
Yeah.
Accept it. Get that deep into whatever part of your cackles you need it to get into. They hate you because of your race and sexual orientation.
Yeah, I guess
Hate
it's
you.
how sad is it though, dude? Because we all remember back when Blade came out. Oh, that was cool, but most people don't understand it's a comic book character. All right, fine, Blade. And then we get Iron Man. Ooh, Iron Man. Why would they chose Iron? Why they choose Iron Man? He's not a big guy. But, ooh, it worked out really well. And then we start getting more and more movies. Like, oh my God, I'm finally getting fun comic book movies. I've been waiting literally my entire fucking life. And then finally we're
Hmm.
getting it. And now look where it's led us. Kevin Feige is worried about white men, and women are definitely the future, which is kind of sad because it wouldn't we meaning humanity be the future, but no, it's just women. So I'm waiting for Why the Last Man, and it'll probably not end the same way. More than likely they'll just kill him in episode 1 and just make it all about the ladies because that's the point.
Well, the other thing you have to look forward to is just incessant amounts of propaganda. I
Oh yeah.
say for the next 2 or 3 years at most. I do think that eventually it's going to die off. I don't think the anti-white stuff's going to die off anytime soon until white people stop being pussies and stand up for themselves. But the other stuff is already starting to die off. The markets just have rejected it soundly, and I don't. We all know it's all performative belief systems when it comes to the racism and the
Yeah.
LGBTQAIP double X Y and Z people and all this. It's all performative with them. They don't actually care. These corporations, they simply don't. And anybody who thinks they do, look at China, because they all take it out when China asks them to, or Middle East. They all take all that shit out or dance around it when they want to release something over there.
Yeah. And then China says
So
screw you anyway.
yeah, so
Perfect.
it's all performative. It's all because Twitter's very loud, and that Twitter is a great place to manufacture consent. And for some reason, every single corporation on the planet has decided that Twitter really matters, even though I've seen no evidence that it does for anything ever at all. Um, but hey, that's their decision. But no, I think you're just going to have to, unfortunately, accept that these people don't like you, that they're not going to make products for you, and they're going to mock you if you expect them to.
Well, they don't get my money then, Thundero.
Good. That's why I don't give them any of mine.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all very much. Sorry, it's a little bit shorter than usual today, but I have quite a busy day ahead of me. But nevertheless, we appreciate you. Keep in mind, tomorrow we do have Bugbear's Basement, and if you're into that kind of D&D stuff, we will have the Drone and Quarter Ultimate Edition, of course. But we'll see you back next week for Night Owls, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the UFO stuff because there seems to be every day now. There's new articles and stories coming out. Tucker's even been continually talking about it as well. So
Oh yeah.
maybe if I see enough information to continue the conversation, I will. But that is interesting. Nevertheless, Booster, give your happy, smiling bye byes.
Bye bye. I love you. I love you. I love you.
There it is. Later, everybody.
Bye.